score 40-36. While Judge Gervonta Davis has it 39-37. All for the winner by unanimous decision, the crown jewel.
You know it's AB, always balling, always boarding, a lot of bills. You know what's going on, man. You know, shout out to Crown Jewels Boxing, man. You know, my people. You know, they get it in over there, straight up.
Lamar Peterson giving a shout out to CrownJewelBoxing.com.
What's good, YouTube? Crown Jewel from Crown Jewel Boxing, back with another gem. This Gervonta Tank Davis fiasco. He's spoken out. He's posted some pictures. There's been a witness statement, and at this point, it just doesn't seem to be what it had initially looked like. He's made mention to people offering the mother of his children $50,000 to press charges against him. He's made mention to the mother of his child being upset because he would not give her his truck. He's posted pictures of his shirt being ripped up, spit on his face, scratches on himself, feces on his toothbrushes, just a whole lot of filth. And again, none of us were there, so we don't know exactly what happened. But these things we're seeing that he was dealing with or was opposing him are very troubling. And I think that's why it's very important not to rush judgment on someone when they're involved in something like this. I must say, I myself, 21 years ago, was involved with an incident, the mother of my two oldest children. And I was arrested. There were false accusations placed on me. In the police report, it made mention to the fact that I was a boxer at that time, and there were false allegations of me assaulting the mother of my children. Once we got to court, though, the truth came out, and I had to be merciful because I was asked to press charges actually on the mother of my children once the truth came out, and the charges against me were dropped. And it just became a big fiasco in which a knife was pulled on me because I decided to move on. And, you know what I mean, she wasn't keen on the idea of me moving on. And without me getting into too much specifics, there was a knife pulled, not by me. I fled the situation and ended up in a very bad way. And I can say the initial report didn't look good for me because the report was made by police who took what she said and had an opinion against me prior to doing any fact checking or even any common sense in my case. And I hate to say, I hope that's not the case here, where a distraught woman who doesn't get her way is able to make false allegations against someone. And again, I was on a much smaller scale, so it didn't quite have, the accusations against me didn't quite have the reach and the level of damage that this man is dealing with, but was a huge inconvenience and shakeup in my life nonetheless. So I kind of understand that from a personal aspect. Also, we've learned that he was bailed out with $100. For him to have a bail of $100 lends itself to the fact that there's very highly unlikeliness of him assaulting the mother of his children. As a professional fighter, one of the best professional fighters in the world, one thing we do know about the Gervonta Tank Davis is that he knows how to fight and inflict damage on people. And had he inflicted the type of damage that he's capable of inflicting, there's no way he would be free on a $100 bond at this point. With all that being said, again, a lot of this is avoided if you have people around you, i.e., experienced older professionals, promoters, managers, advisors, to serve as a buffer between yourself and the things that will be potentially damaging and harmful to your person and your career. He made a statement about speaking out to clear his name because he doesn't have a PR team or a good lawyer, and that he's doing all of this by himself. Again, this is something that likely would not be the case if he was still signed in a major promotional contract with a major promotional company. Why? Because you're their investment, and they're in a position where they have to protect you, their brand, and their earning potential off of you. And they're a little more experienced in preparing for what may happen instead of having to be put in a position to react to things after they happen. So again, what some may call taking the training wheels off, others may call taking the safety restraints off. And yes, it's good to have freedom. I think driving with a seatbelt is extremely uncomfortable. But as a firefighter, a retired firefighter that's cut a bunch of people out of cars, I understand that uncomfortable seatbelt can very likely save my life in terms of an accident. So sometimes we have to put restraints or allow restraints to be put on ourselves to protect ourselves from the accidents and the ills that can happen in life. Again, I maintain I wasn't there when this incident happened, but I do have common sense, and I do know the incident can't happen as it happened if the young lady is not with you in camp. Why do we leave our hometowns as fighters to go into boxing camp? Because day-to-day life, even your family, can serve as a distraction. Fighters who go into a sport, a gladiator sport, where they're literally, not quite literally, not figuratively, literally put their lives on the line for the entertainment of the masses in order to earn a living. When you have an occupation such as that, you cannot have distractions going in. Boxing is 90% mental, 10% physical. Why? There are weight classes. There are experience levels. When you reach the level of Gervonta Tank Davis, everybody you fight can fight. Everybody's the same size. Everybody has the same level of experience. Everybody has two weapons. They're two fists. What separates those two people who have all the same assets? You're thinking, how can I outthink someone when my mind is somewhere else dealing with a tragedy that has nothing to do with the task at hand? Fighters, let this be a lesson to you. There's a reason why your team attempts to insulate you and separate you from even your closest people in your life when you're preparing for a fight. Because the honest truth is, the only people that should be around you during those 6 to 8 weeks that you're preparing for a professional fight are people who stand to lose something if things don't go well as well as those who understand the task at hand and what it actually takes to prepare for the task at hand and how serious the consequences could be if there's anything that happens to interfere with that. So I pray for this young man. I pray for Gervonta Tank Davis. I pray that this outcome turns out the best it can for him, the mother of his children, and his daughter. But I also pray that this serves as a wake-up call to let this young man know that he needs to put a security blanket around himself and listen to people who may be a little older, a little more experienced, and allow them to shield him for some of the BS that may, quite frankly, ruin his career, if not his life. Everybody can't go. That's a very familiar saying for people who are affluent and successful in life. Some people have to get left. Why do they have to get left? Because they can put you in a position to lose the elevation, stardom, fame, success, whatever you want to call it, in your journey, and pull you right back down into the cesspool in which you started, where they may still dwell. So, like I said, I hope this is a lesson to all, not just young fighters, young men, young adults in the world. There are people put in place. There are systems put in place. There are concepts put in place to protect you and shield you from life that have worked for years and years to protect people as they prepared for things like this. And everything that's put in place, most everything, has a really good reason. A lot of these methods are tried and true. They've existed for hundreds and hundreds of years because they work. So I think he's at a point now, Gervonta Tank Davis, where it's time to realize that you're going to need some help on the business side to protect you from some of the things that a person with a good heart can allow himself to fall victim to. Again, I don't want to call it pass judgment, but I'm just speaking factually. If the young lady is not there at camp, the incident can't happen. Again, my best wishes to the champ, Gervonta Tank Davis, the young lady in this incident, and his child, and anyone else who's professionally or personally affected by this tragedy and the magnitude of the media coverage around it. I wish you guys the best result. I hope this serves as a learning experience for all those involved, and not only those involved, but those who are watching, who maybe can take lessons from this and prevent themselves from being in the same position later on down the line. Until next time, keep your hands up, your chin down, and your ass off the floor. Peace.